this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest tonight is Minor Vincent, president of Families Helping Families. Minor, welcome.
Peter, good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
What's
Very
new?
good. Just taking a little time for this summer and getting ready for all our fall activities.
All right. How things going with the organization? You guys keeping busy?
Things are very busy,
Good.
which is a good thing and a bad thing. The busier we are, that means there's lots of needs.
Right.
The good thing is that because of the generosity of the people in Clinton, we have the funds to meet those needs.
Okay. Now, for our viewers and our listeners that don't know who Minor Vincent is, who's Minor Vincent? What is Families Helping Families?
Families Helping Families was formed 9 years ago.
All right.
We started off with one basic program, and that was energy assistance.
Sure.
We've since expanded into 5 separate community outreach programs.
Okay.
We have our energy assistance program, our fresh produce program, which we run in conjunction with the Clinton Food Pantry.
Okay.
We have our Clinton Kids Initiative, which Cheryl Church, from Director of Social Services, we work with her, meet the needs of whatever the needs are of kids in town.
Okay.
We have our Cans for Clinton program, which is separate from the produce. What we do is when there is a need at the food pantry, especially during these times, we will fill in with actually buying food or buying things like shampoo or soap, toothbrushes, snacks that they can't afford.
Right.
So we step in. And then we have our Families to Families. Families to Families is a program specifically designed to step in immediately and help a family that might be experiencing some difficult circumstances.
Okay.
So what we do is if we know this particular need, we'll address that. Otherwise, we'll give gas cards, food cards, oil for their heat, things like that. So because of, like I said, the generosity of everybody in town, we've been able to fund those 5 programs.
Okay.
We started off this year, and our goal was our budget for all the programs was $40,000.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll meet that goal. And nothing is set in stone. In other words, if there is a need in one program, we can move funds from designated funds into that program. Right now, there's a tremendous need in the Families to Families. Just encountered a lot of families that have experienced some difficult circumstances. So we want to make sure that when that occurs, you don't have to wait, you don't have to fill out forms. We just immediately step in and help, doing everything we can. And we try and have as many eyes out into the community to get feedback from people that they might know that need help that we're not aware of.
And from what I understand, your organization also works with the local soup kitchens and pantries?
Yep, we do.
Can we maybe tell us a little bit about that?
Yep, we work with the Clinton Food Pantry with Linda Smith, who's the director.
Yeah.
2 of our programs, the Fresh Produce program and the Cans for Clinton program, we work directly with her.
Okay.
The Fresh Produce program, we started because if we go to the supermarket, you're looking at produce, vegetables, and fruit are probably the second highest priced thing.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that on a weekly basis there were nutritious items to give out to families in need.
Right.
Our program got helped dramatically in the past 2 years because the community garden at the Holy Advent Church has come on board. And in the past 2 years, they've donated almost 10,000 pounds of vegetables.
Holy cow.
So in the summer months, we're able to concentrate on just fruit because of the vegetables that are coming from the garden.
Sure.
And fruit is very expensive.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So we try and make sure that every week or every other week, there are sufficient vegetables or fruits for people that are the clients of the food pantry. And then what we do is 3 times a year, Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, we set aside a good amount of money so that people's holiday tables will be like yours and mine. We don't want, as much as possible, don't want those people to feel like they're second-class citizens. Because they're not. They just happen to be undergoing some difficult times right at the moment.
Now, do you also deal with the other local community gardens in town, or do you just deal with Holy Advent?
We just deal with Holy Advent, but St. Mary's also has a community garden.
Right.
And that garden also donates a lot of their produce to the food pantry. So during the summer months, a client will go there and they're getting the benefit of both gardens producing, squash, lettuce, vegetables, tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes. Both gardens do a great job. Great job.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Holy Advent is Peter Laram.
Peter Laram is the pastor.
Yep.
Margaret, his wife, is kind of the overseer of that garden.
Okay.
And in 2 years' time, they've just done an amazing job. They just this year they put water in an irrigation system in,
Yes.
so they can water. And they're putting electricity in so that there'll be outlets within the garden to make it easier for people. And they've expanded it. Each year they've expanded the garden. It's just a phenomenal operation. If any of your listeners or viewers want to all they have to do is drive into the parking lot at Pearson.
Yep.
And it's on the right-hand side, and it's unbelievable what they've done. They have 30 or 40 volunteers, and every Wednesday and every Saturday they're there working to, try and win the battle of the weeds, so to speak.
I was going to say with the electricity issue, they just flip on the switch and say, "Let there be light."
Well,
Poof, there it is.
not kind of. But if they need, equipment, then
Right.
now they have an outlet. They don't have to run back and forth to the church. and things
Exactly.
like that. So it makes it easier.
It does. It does. Now, what other events and community outreach does your organization do?
Well, our schedule, we partner with the Lions Club,
Okay.
and they do a pancake breakfast for us.
Right.
Which they've been doing for 9 consecutive years.
Mm-hmm.
We do a food drive in the fall, food drive in the spring. We do our traditional apple pie in the fall,
Yep.
which is always the first Saturday in October.
Yep.
We do Christmas in Clinton.
Right.
We have our Soups On contest. And we collect food at the Coast Guard Academy Band Concert, which the Chamber puts on.
Yep. Now, as far as what our viewers and listeners don't know, we got to talk about your spring food drive. Spring food drive. It's either
snowing.
40 degrees or a snowstorm.
Traditionally, we've had the spring food drive. It's always been the last Saturday in March. And the feedback is always that, the weather will not cooperate, no matter what.
Won't.
So, and as you have been there for most of them, you know that the wind at Stop and Shop
Yes.
is very gusty. So
Yes.
by the end of the day, most people are half frozen.
Exactly.
But, it's the same group of people that have volunteered for the food drive.
Right.
Without fail, when I put out the email, they said, you can count on me, and they've been doing it for years and years,
totally.
and they enjoy it.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and what we try and make it easier for people, because what we do is we develop a list of needed items at the food pantry,
Yeah.
and also items that are on sale at Stop and Shop. So, people come up to us and we give them the list. They go in, they buy the things on sale, which saves them money, and they can buy more.
Right.
So we've tried to refine it each year, and we try and always partner with the Clinton Police Department, and they've done they just done a great job for us.
Exactly. Now, you do a food. I've got a Mezzetti-ism for you. No, it's easy.
Okay.
You do a food drive.
Yep.
After the food drive is over, then what happens?
After the food drive's over, and with all our events, the food goes to the Holy Advent, where the Clinton Food Pantry is.
Yep.
All the food gets weighed, and we check it for dates, not
Yep.
necessarily the food drive, because a lot of people are just buying it right off the shelf and Stop and Shop.
Right.
So we try, and when we're doing the food drive, we try and sort it into categories.
Correct.
So we take it all back to the food pantry, and then we try and we restock the shelves. And because we put it in categories, as you well know,
Right.
Bringing 1,200, 1,300 pounds of food back, we can put it on the shelves, and record time. It takes us about a half hour. So
We're a well-oiled machine when we do it.
It's, like I said, it's been, we've been doing the food drives now for 9 years, so we kind of know how it goes. And it makes it easier for the people. And so when we go back to the food pantry, there are also food pantry volunteers there too,
Right.
to help us put it away. So it makes it easier for everybody. And it's a Saturday. You're asking people to give up their one of their 2 free days a week to help out. So we try and make it as easy as we can.
Exactly. Now, from what I understand by doing research, you guys also have a event coming up in the very near future.
We do. We have our fall food drive, which will come up in September.
Okay.
And the same basic formula works. We're stop and shop from 10 to 2.
Yeah.
We develop a list of needed items and items that are on sale. We also have containers there. If people want to donate dollars, they can donate dollars as opposed to, donating food. All the dollars stay within the town.
Right.
And I'm proud to say that 100% of every dollar goes back into the community.
Very nice. Very nice.
So the logical question some people ask me is, well, how do you pay for your overhead? We're all volunteer.
Right.
And we have very little expense. And the expenses are paid. We have some people on our board that pay for the expenses. They also donate money. We also have a few people that will give me a check and say, use it for anything
Whatever you want.
But any publicly raised money, 100% of that goes right back into the community.
Really?
Yep. So, we're
very nice.
We're pretty proud of that. And it's it's a hardworking group of people.
It is.
It's just not, it's just not us. It's the whole Clinton community. When we do an event or when we need help and we put out the call, people respond.
Right, except me.
You always respond.
I always ring, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, you guys also did an event not long ago with McDonald's. How did you guys do?
Yeah, we did good. It was the first time McDonald's approached us, wanted to do something, and doing a little bit of research and talking to the people at McDonald's, they do a lot of things for the community. It's just not, a business that is there and doesn't give back. They do give back. They do fundraisers for the Morgan School. They do fundraisers for the Clinton Volunteer Fire Department. Yeah. And they did one for us. And what they did is they designated a time frame. Yeah. And our time frame was 2 to 8 p.m.
All right.
And for that time frame, they would give us 10% of all the sales.
Very nice.
And that included 10% of the drive-through sales, which was nice. And we did very well. We did very well. It's, sometimes the hardest event to do is the first one.
Right.
So we're hoping that they'll partner with us again next year.
Would you mind holding around for another segment?
No, love to.
We'll be right back.
Spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, sitting here with Minor Vincent from Families Helping Families. Minor, welcome back.
Good to be here again.
Good to have you here again. So for our viewers and listeners just joining us, tell us a little bit about what is Families Helping Families and a little bit about the organization and exactly what you guys do.
Families Helping Families basically was formed to give back to the Clinton community. Okay. We started off with one community outreach program. Now we have 5. Okay. We try and keep a calendar of events throughout the year.
Right.
Some of them are our own events. Some of them are events that we partner with other organizations.
Right.
Like I said, we have 5 community outreach programs. We have a energy assistance program, a fresh produce program, a Clinton Kids Initiative program,
Okay.
a program called Cans for Clinton, and our last program is called Families to Families.
Okay. And can you maybe give us a little bit of a brief description of each?
Energy assistance, we work with Cheryl Church.
Right.
What we do is we go out and we obtain a large block of oil.
Okay.
And basically, the program runs through Cheryl Church.
Sure.
She is the one who signs people up for state energy assistance. What happens is once people have that allocation and they go through that, there's 2 subsequent programs that they can take advantage of.
Okay.
And when they've used those avenues up, our program kicks in. So when you have a cold winter, and the price of oil last year was a little bit better, but the year before it was like $4 a gallon.
Okay.
So it doesn't go very far.
No, definitely not.
Our fresh produce program, we provide fresh produce for the Clinton Food Pantry 2 or 3 times a month. We buy from a wholesaler. The wholesaler delivers it on the day that the food is given out, so it's a win-win. The first win is that we're not paying retail prices, so
Which is always a nice thing.
which is great. So everybody's dollar goes further. The other win is that it's delivered fresh that day.
Right.
So we have Clinton Kids Initiative, where anything that kids in town need that they can't either afford or is not provided, we step in. We do back to school, we do snacks, things like that Cheryl needs. We have done backpacks, we've done lunch packs. Cans for Clinton. Cans for Clinton, when there's a time frame from like the first week in May to the last week in September,
Yeah.
where there are no food drives in the town.
Right.
So what happens is the food pantry typically runs low, very low. So we step in and we actually buy food to restock the shelves. And Families to Families is a program that helps families going through difficult circumstances, and we just step in and do whatever we can to help them out, to make whatever they're going through a little bit easier.
And I'm actually going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you for a second.
All right?
The only thing that we're going to talk about very briefly, if you want, is from what I understand from doing research on other events going on in town, I guess there's a summer breakfast program.
Summer breakfast program. This is the first time that
We talk about it, or
Yeah,
all
this
right.
is the first time that it's going to happen.
All right.
The problem is that during the school year, there are a lot of children on free and reduced lunches.
Correct.
Once the school year is over, those kids don't have any means for lunches.
Correct.
So I offered a long time ago, if the program ever got off the ground, that Families Helping Families would help. Jim Crawford, who works with
Yep.
End Hunger Connecticut,
Sure.
did a lot of legwork.
Okay.
And Cheryl Church, who's Director of Social Services,
yeah.
basically put the program together. And how it's going to work is that Monday through Thursday, kids will come to the annex, which used to be the old police station on Main Street.
Downtown, sure.
And they will they'll get a meal. Hopefully we'll have some activities. And on Thursday, we will send them home with a brown bag lunch. We'll send them home with like a microwavable meal,
Okay.
yogurt or fruit cups, some packaged snacks, granola bars, things like that. So in essence, they have a lunch for the next day.
Okay.
So we're really excited about that. And it's open to students from early ages up to 18.
Okay. And what is the time frame for the program?
Time frame is going to start, hopefully, We're still trying to work out some of the details because the date's been moved a couple times.
Probably
but
the beginning to the middle of July.
yeah, it looks like it's definitely going to start July 6th.
Okay.
And it'll run to like probably the last week in August.
Okay.
And it'll be 12 to 1 at the annex.
Now, is there paperwork you have to fill out, or
No,
you just show up?
Just show up, yep.
Very nice.
The less paperwork, the better.
Exactly. I'm sure you love doing paperwork as much as I do.
Yeah, no, that's why we don't have, if somebody's in need, you don't have to fill out a form.
Right.
We just try and help the person out.
Exactly. Now, we talked about a little bit in the first segment that you guys did you guys teamed up not long ago with McDonald's. How did you do that night?
We did very well.
Good.
We did very well.
Good.
And McDonald's gave us 10% of
Yeah.
their sales from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
All right.
And then we had a donation container there that people could also donate. So it was for a first-time event, it went very well.
Very
and,
nice.
We thanked them for.
Very nice.
They came to us and wanted to do something, so we're
Definitely.
pretty happy about that.
And the other reason that we're here tonight is we're going to talk about, you guys do a spring food drive and a fall food drive, and I believe the fall food drive is sometime in September at Stop and Shop from
Yep, it's always
10 to 2.
from
Correct me if
10
I'm
to
wrong?
2 at Stop and Shop. What we do is we provide a list of needed items and items that are on sale.
Okay.
We also have canisters there. If people would rather donate dollars, they can donate dollars.
Right.
And as soon as we're done at 2 o'clock, we pack up all the food and we go to the
We
food
go weigh it
pantry.
all.
Yep.
Now, one thing I'd like you to explain to our viewers and listeners, that when you walk into Stop and Shop, there are bins marked for the Shoreline Soup Kitchen and Pantry. Does that food go to just to them in Saybrook at the soup kitchen,
No,
or does it go to?
That strictly goes to Clinton.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's run by, I believe, Lynn Smith.
Linda Smith is the director. Patty
Dowling
is the executive director
was gonna say,
of Shoreline Food Pantry.
I had both of the ladies on with me not long ago, and it was a very, very enjoyable evening. We sat down.
It's quite the operation.
It is.
Each town has, not each town, but a lot of towns in the area have food pantries, and on the day that they give out food, before that, they also have a meal site. So
Okay.
you can get a meal and then go get, the
Go
food.
get your groceries.
Exactly.
Now, as far as, and I'm sure you're aware that the way that the food pantry works when they're in Clinton, I believe on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have your choice of what you have to get, or is it
No, what they've done is they've broken things down into categories. So
Okay.
when you go into the food pantry, everything is set up on tables and it's all categorized.
All right.
And then it's further broken down is family of 2, family of 3, family of 4. You get so many of that category.
Right.
And if they have to have a lot of something, then they give out more.
Right.
But it's all separated by, whether it's bread or whether it's canned vegetables or canned fruits, fresh vegetables, meats, and all that. And like I said, it's how many you get is determined by the size of your family.
Now, explain to us the way that the fresh produce program works.
Fresh produce program is on the weekends. Linda Smith and I get an email from our produce company,
Okay.
and she goes through it, generally buys everything that's on sale, which
Okay.
is good for us.
Right.
I will tell her how much we can spend that week,
Right.
and then she will just take that amount and divvy it up and try and provide, a variety of different vegetables or fruits. Like I think last week we had strawberries, we had blueberries, we had oranges, and we had apples. So you
Alright.
get
You get a good assortment.
right. And at that time, now last week the garden was also already producing, and they were
Correct.
having radishes and herbs and things like that. So, once the summer months get here, 2 or 3 more weeks, they'll be harvesting, cucumbers and lettuce and
Green
eggplants,
beans.
green beans, peas. It's, like I said, it's very worthwhile if somebody wants to drive into the Pearson School parking lot and take a look at the garden. It's amazing what they've done.
Exactly. It was very humorous the other day. I was down at the St. Mary's Garden with my mom one day last week, and people were stopping and driving by, members of the public, wanting to know when they can come and buy the produce from the garden. And my mom was like, no.
No,
This is not for sale.
St. Mary's does a good job. And, if people know where the garden is, it's down by the town dock.
Right.
And so they have to pick everything.
Oh, yeah.
They have to package it up into some kind of container.
Right.
They have to drive it all the way up to the food pantry on Main Street.
Right.
So, there's a lot of extra work.
It's a good haul.
There's a lot of extra work involved in that garden, but they do a great job.
They do. And I'm sure with Pastor Peter and Margaret at the Holy Advent, they do a pretty good job with their garden and as far as production of fruits, vegetables, and other fun stuff
It's
in the
amazing.
world.
You don't realize it's only the second, well, it's actually be the third year for that garden.
Okay.
But in 2 short years, they've accomplished a lot.
They have. And right before we say goodnight, one more time, we do a fall food drive.
We do a fall.
Usually in September.
Yep, towards the end of September.
Okay.
The word will be out on our Facebook page
Yeah.
and in the Harbor News
Yeah.
and word of mouth. And, we urge everybody to come out because it is the first food drive in almost 4 or 5 months in the
Okay.
town. So townwide food drive.
And
So
then after the food drive,
apple pie.
I was going to say there's an apple pie festival,
That's
but
it.
we're not going to get into doing too many details about that because we'll be back and talk about apple pie in a couple weeks.
Great.
Minor Vincent from Families Helping Families, thanks for coming down.
Peter, thank you very
We'll
much.
see you again soon.
My pleasure.
All
I'd
right.
love to come back.
On behalf of Minor, I'm Peter. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.